you ready to take your investment game to the next level? Introducing Digital Investor, your ultimate guide to mastering the digital marketplace. Whether you're a seasoned pro or just starting out, Digital Investor brings you cutting-edge game theoretical strategies, expert insights, and real-time tips and tactics to analyze, evaluate, invest and grow your wealth. Don't miss out on the digital revolution. Visit www.nickblacknex.com and start your journey with Digital Investor today.
All right. Hello. There we go. That's more manageable. Yeah, the auto update monster finally got me. I was going through all this stuff and then the little box, and it has the little gear. You just click it, and that was it. Back to zero, and then you're waiting. You're just waiting to wait. So here we are. All right. Let's see what's going on. Let me get that there. Okay. All right. Good morning. Hello. If Hypercycle is willing to give Ben his team free licenses, they're not. No, I don't think any of that's going to happen, Chad. They already offered that, and those guys said no. Ben said at first, oh, I'm going to be participating in Hypercycle. And then he said, oh, I don't think that Hypercycle has, they got mad at Tufi and Dan for not open sourcing the software, to which those guys said, we're a software company. Why would we open source the thing that we're selling and give it away for free? Because, Ben likes to give everything away for free. So Ben was like, what do you mean? And so you can see the obvious logical argument, right? We're a software company. If we open source everything, we have nothing to sell. So what happens is the way that Hypercycle is designed is as the nodes branch to more and more, I like the term branching better. As the nodes branch to more and more nodes, bits and pieces of the software are exposed as you get closer to some kind of total number network lock-in type number, where you have so many participants that it doesn't matter if you expose what you're doing, because there's plenty of Internet of AI pie out there for other people to eat. That makes sense? So Ben and those guys were offered licenses. They turned it down. Mario and those guys were offered licenses. They turned it down. They wanted their tokens, which they didn't earn, by the way. Those are tokens that you earn over time, but to avoid lawsuits and all this kind of stuff, and because they were already litigious anyway, Mario and those guys they're pretty short-term thinkers. Anyway, so Tufi, being the good guy that he is, he gave them all of their tokens, even the tokens they had not earned. He gave them all of their tokens. All. Which, again, they had no obligation to do that. But, Ben, Tufi and Ben have been friends for a while. But the trade-off was they leave the company, and that's it. They're gone. See you later. Bye. So they are no longer part of anything having to do with Hypercycle. Now, Ben had originally claimed, and this was mostly a lie, but he had claimed that we're going to work with Hypercycle. They talked about doing a fork and all this kind of stuff. It was all mostly nonsense. Then Ben decided, I'll build my own Hypercycle. Like, buddy, you've not built anything. But if you're going to build your own, so they're going to call it Metacycle, great. But what they don't have is Toda IP, which is the same underlying tech that Ben was complaining that Hypercycle wouldn't open source in the first place. So the idea that Ben, who's never built anything, by the way, he's a visionary, and this is true, but he's never built anything, not actually built. So as far as like code, so that team that's not produced anything, go down the list of things that company has produced. It's a fucking goose egg. So that team is somehow going to conjure up all of the best bits of Toda IP, which is like the engine, the horsepower in Hypercycle. They're just going to conjure it up because of an idea of what it does. He has some idea of what it does, not a really good understanding, but some idea. So he's just going to make his own. So you will excuse me if I blow my whistle and throw the bullshit flag. Those guys will do and say anything they can to take the last cold nickel out of your grandmother's purse over at ASI. They have no scruples and no couth, and they do not give a shit about you. I think they went the wrong direction a long time ago. I think what happened is Ben surrounded himself with creeps under the auspices of, I don't think he intended this. I think creeps showed up, the Janets, the Davids, whatever, what have yous. They showed up with these great ideas, and he narrowed his vision and put on his big hat and just refused to look at the reality of what was happening around him. If you spend 13 milliseconds talking to that team, you realize they are incapable. And again, I'm not talking about Ben right now. Push Ben to the side. I'm saying all of the people he supported himself with are morons. They're either morons or they're morally corrupt. Same difference. Same shit. But they will tell you anything they can. You want an exercise in abstract, just retarded thinking? Yeah, I said it. We can say that again. Trump is elected. We can say retarded again. If you want to see retarded thinking in real time, go listen to the interview. The interview that Janet did with what is it? The guys, London. What is it? Those investor guys, London something. The dude who, he's an American dude, but I guess he lives in Europe or whatever. He does the interviews. They did an interview about Zarka when they were trying to pitch Zarka. I want you to keep in mind, she's the one basically co-heading, kind of co-running the show or whatever over at ASI. Go listen to Janet talk and then come back and ask me questions. Ask me new questions about ASI. And then just look at the long list of stupid. It's mind-boggling. And it's unfortunate because when the whole ASI thing happened, it killed a really good investment for us. At that point, we didn't know Fetch was corrupt. We do know that now, but we didn't know that then. We thought Fetch was legit. So we learned that they were corrupt. That investment's gone. We learned that AGI AGIX, which AGI first, and then it became AGIX. We learned that they were corrupt. There went an investment. And unfortunately, Ocean Protocol got hoovered into all that. And we learned, and that's it. I mean, and so you ask yourself, game theoretically, well, how did they get enticed into that partnership? Well, it was the lure of an exit. And by my assumptions, each of those three companies got about $100 million exit one way or another in that deal. And you guys financed it. I mean, you guys, I'm saying in general, people that bought that stupid ass token. Should have been a warning sign when they voted on their own, when they had to use their own tokens to vote through this initiative because the public said no. It should have been a warning sign when Coinbase said, we're not participating in this bullshit. We're not relabeling the tokens, and we're not listing AGIX in some reverse weird way, because that's what it was. They were trying to back into an exchange listing, which they weren't getting because Coinbase, rightfully so, did not believe in AGIX, the token, nor the company, which is why they didn't list it ever. Still haven't. So it's like, just go look at the laundry list of monumental fuck ups this company has made. It should have been a warning sign when Ben said, oh, by the way, we're going to vote on one other thing, which they voted for themselves. We're going to drag forward 100 million tokens, $100 million worth of tokens. Funny that number keeps popping up, and that were supposed to be locked up. But we're going to just drag them forward and go ahead and use them. We're going to sell them against you guys. We're going to sell them against you because that's the only way you can sell. We're going to sell them against the retail investor to further dilute the market, and so that we can buy some mining rigs. Yeah. So buy some server. We're going to buy some chips. For what? For AI. What are you going to do with them? We're going to buy some chips for AI. And we're going to buy some H100s, and we're going to mine. We're going to do crypto AI stuff. What are you guys going to do? We're just going to do some stuff. Oh, okay, cool. All right. Well, then I feel safe. Let me help finance your deal. So, yeah, a little common sense goes a long way with that group. All right, let me get down and work my way back up. Okay, wait, where was I? Oh yes, prayers for Catherine's mom. Of course. Cycle of life is a very difficult one in many places at many times. What up, Dave? Hello. Can we still buy nodes licenses? Yes. You've always bought node licenses from. Well, it's not from me. It's not me and Brandon. You're buying them through Hypercycle. It's just that they are listed at Node Market. So if you go to Node Market and you go to market, you see licenses. And that's what you get. You got tons of them, buddy. Tons. Just shop for whatever is the most financially easy for you. Yeah, there you go. All right. Okay. I think Tufi should buy back all the coins from them and get over. Well, it doesn't. Listen, there's a lot of things that I think that they should do at Hypercycle. They don't necessarily listen to my advice. Well, that's not fair. They listen to my advice. They don't always act on my advice. And I'm just one person out of many. I thought they should never have given those guys tokens in the first place because they did not earn them. If you earn them, you get them and you have the right to sell them. If you didn't earn them, you should get nothing. You should get a fucking lump of coal wrapped in a note that says, go fuck yourself. But they chose a different path. They chose a different path. Those guys will continue selling. But the thing is, and I keep saying this, the token price doesn't matter. You're not making money on the token. Those of you speculating on the token have got it wrong. I mean, you might make money, but you still got it wrong. The value is the node factories. The node factories will return revenue. They will branch and create more nodes and more nodes and more nodes until each single license has become 1,024 nodes out there earning revenue. That's the value. The value ain't in the little free floating token that Ben and his douches can sell. So who cares? Now, many of you might say, oh man, and this is a valid argument. I spent X amount. I bought node factories when it was $1 a token, or 75 cents, 65 cents, 85 cents a token. True. That is the nature of the token floating around. But it's still, even if you bought at $14 a token, that's still not where the value is. The value is in what that node will produce as it branches over time. So I still think people are looking at it the wrong way. And yeah, I just think you should reframe that. Now, there are all sorts of things going on in the background to provide support and assistance and benefits to people that have node factories that will take into account what you spent when you purchase those node factories, because you can go back and you look at the time that they were created, and you can look at what the token, the value of the token was on some kind of moving average, and you can ascribe a all-in value at that moment. There are all sorts of things being done to, it's not really compensate, but kind of it is, to both support and compensate those of you based on what you've done. So these things take a little time and they take some lawyering, but they're in the works. So I say to the SNet community, please sell all your tokens and get the fuck out of our ecosystem. Go on. If Ben thinks he can build another Hypercycle, go build your own shit, Ben. You haven't built anything yet, but maybe on this one you get it. Get the fuck out of here. So go sell all your tokens. Sell it to 1 penny. We don't care. Nothing's changed at Hypercycle because of the price of the token. Nothing. But I am also, I am empathetic to the average investor that said, man, my tokens were worth this, or I bought them for this. I'm with you. I locked up in the neighborhood of, I'll just say it this way, many tens of millions of tokens. Listen to what I'm saying. Me, locked up for several years, many tens, so you can do some math, of millions of Hypercycle tokens for several years. I have not lost faith. I'm not knocking on the Toofy's door like, Toofy, man, hey, can you guys give me my tokens, man? I want to go over to the DEX and sell $4,800 a day or some old crap like that. So I feel fine about it. But for me, it was never a speculation on the token price. It still isn't. Emotionally, we would all be like, yeah, if the price went to 50 cents or 75 cents or $2, yeah. But would that change anybody? If you have a node factory, would that actually make any difference at all? No, it makes no difference. It's just, it's a metric right now because the nodes aren't generating USDC revenue. They are generating HYPC revenue, but that's an internal function to kind of pay people for waiting, which is cool, but whatever. You're okay, great, I'm getting paid in a cheap token. Great. But when they start making USDC, wonderful. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Anyway, I just think you guys ought to think about the way that you're thinking about this. And every time that Brandon and I went through those charts, those of you that are digital private clients and digital investors, those of you behind the wall, you know that every time we talk about Hypercycle, we caveat it. Well, this is a business proposition. This isn't a token speculation. You don't hold Hypercycle. You really don't hold Hypercycle tokens. You just shouldn't even hold them unless you're using them to fill licenses and create node factories to participate in the internet of AI. Otherwise, like speculating on the token is like speculating on anything. I have a story today that I will share of people that speculated on the Pi token. You guys hear about that? They got hammered. Why? Because early investors took off. That thing got ripped. It went from $31 to $1. It went down 98%. Ouch. So you think you're having a bad day? Not as bad as them. Let's see. I think what Chad is saying is if Hypercycle would give them licenses, why not give us as early investors a bunch of free licenses? Okay, again, what you guys are saying is crazy sauce. I'm not going to go down. We're not going to go down the path of some weird. I don't know where you guys are. None of those ideas make any common sense as a company. Like, just stop. Like, Beth, I don't know why Exxon. We bought cars. Why wouldn't they just give us all the gas we need for the rest of our life? I don't get it. Because, man, that's not the way it works. Stop. I want everybody to put on, if you're wearing crazy glasses, take them off. And I want you to put on your common sense game theory glasses. That's true, Bill. Look. They successfully launched Sophiaverse, which did so well. I talked about lockups and all this. Again, you guys are correct. A lot of these concerns, but I want you to assume that Brandon and I and many people raised these concerns, and what they did was the best bad choice kind of choice cascade they could, daisy chain of choices, the best bad choices they could make, given things that they may know that we don't know. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So there's that. Okay. Well, no, he's not worthless, Bill. He's a great look. Ben is a great speaker. When he doesn't do his thing, whatever that was for a while. Brian Rose. That's right. It was Brian Rose. Good get. London Real. Did you listen? Just real quick. Has anybody here listened to the one with Janet? It is awesome. She says the most ridiculous things in the most braggadocious, big dick ways. Like you cannot imagine how ridiculous her vocabulary is. I mean, every stupid, big, incredible, revolutionary, reinvent, like she Googled biggest words in English, biggest, most ridiculous, outrageous claim adjectives, and she just put them in a soup and she just fired them out. It was just awesome. And then she kind of did the same thing. I don't know if I told you guys, but she pitched us Zarka, which, by the way, that thing died on the vine. That was so stupid as to not mention it. But they pitched us investing in Zarka, which was them going out and buying a bunch of hardware, a bunch of chips, so they could create their own competitive large language model. I said, so your idea is to buy a bunch of chips and go compete with with OpenAI and Google and Perplexity and Anthropic and ... Yeah. Oh my God. You guys aren't getting a dime. I don't think they raised any money except from probably the guy from London Real, that idiot, Brian. Nice, well-intentioned guy, but that guy is dumber than a box full of hammers. Anyway, oh God, that was good stuff. If anybody watched it, it was just awesome. This is so good. You just laugh your ass off. Okay. Once we have node factories built, what will be the use for Hypercycle tokens going forward? Well, there won't be much use. That's the thing is your Hypercycle tokens, it's a placeholder token on the Ethereum blockchain. It does establish a kind of provenance of like when you began, when you married the tokens, and it's a proof on a ledger that this is when this occurred. There's some value in that. At that point, though, that token gets swapped for C Hypercycle. C Hypercycle is actually the token that containerizes data, pushes it across, exchanges that data for payment, and then comes back. The little container, the shipping truck. You deliver the package, you grab the money, you come back. So that does not happen with the Ethereum token. So the real token in the realest sense is the C, little c underscore Hypercycle, HYPC. That's the token that does everything. And there's not a market for that token because that exists internally. That's the ledgerless blockchain. So I don't think there is much use. I mean, if you got the ecosystem to full capacity, then you would be in a situation where, I mean, you'll never get to full capacity, right? There's always going to be some amount of mismatch between node licenses that are functional and people that may want to rip them apart. But what we're building now is a whole ecosystem where you'll be able to just sell that whole node factory as one big wrapped bundle. You won't ever have to unwrap it. So tokens go in, they're swapped for C Hypercycle, and that should be the end of it. The HYPC tokens are how they're paying us now. But remember, that's just an internal reward function until compute is meaningfully rolled out and other customers are paying in with USDC to utilize your node factories, at which point you get paid in USDC. So this is the stopgap between now and then. Would you rather not be getting paid, Bill? Is the question I would ask. Would anybody here rather not be getting paid? If so, nickblack.eth. You can just send money to that. Or, what was my other one? paynickblack.uni.eth. Either one of those. Feel free to send me any extra money that you guys when you guys have extra money and you're like, oh, I hate all this extra money. What shall I do with it? It's wasted crypto money. nickblack.eth. Very easy. It's easy to remember. It almost rolls off the tongue. Matter of fact, see at the top of the screen where it says Nick Black Next? Just get rid of the next.com and put nickblack.eth. You could just send that extra money there for those of you that have extra. People ask me, hey, man, you got any extra change? I'm like, I've never had extra. I've never had like so much money that I was like, oh, this is my money and this is my extra money. No, it's just your money, man. No, they didn't do anything that was fraudulent. They're just creeps. Well, no, man, I don't want to go down that road. Okay. No one gets arrested yet in crypto, although I do think these guys, the Libra, the Argentinian big thing, that dude's going to jail. That dude's going to prison. I think he knows he's going to prison. He's already lawyered up. He's not giving interviews anymore. He knows he's going to prison. And I think a lot of people around that, the Melania launch, well, there's going to be a lot of indictments. I don't know how many people actually get arrested, but there's going to be a lot of indictments around Melania, around Trump, because that token was offered to people 2 weeks before the rest of us had a chance, which I'm not the rest of us because I would never invest in any of that crap. But there's a whole string of these meme coins, and there was always insiders that had several weeks of manage. I think Dave Portnoy is in trouble. I think he's going to be in a lot of trouble. I think a lot of these people that think that, oh, just because it's crypto, it don't count, motherfuckers are going to jail. I just don't think it'll be a lot of people. Now, that's in the meme coin thing, and that's just because it's obvious front-running insider trading bullshit. I mean, the thing about fraud is you got to prove it. Like, did you know that the SEC originally went after Brad Garlinghouse and Chris Larson for fraud? and they committed fraud, but it's pretty tough to prove the intention. You got to prove intention. That's tricky. And so fraud, just fraud. I mean, there's all sorts of statute violations and RICO and SEC and there's all sorts of procedural violations that can occur. Fraud is very nebulous, very tricky. It's very wide reaching and kind of gooey and messy. And as far as that being prosecutable, I don't think so. Even if the intent was all those guys walk with $100 million, the ASI guys get $100 million to use however they want, which they did. The guys from Fetch get $100 million, which they did. And the guys from Ocean get $100 million, which I bet you money they did. I'm sure they've exited, all those guys, at least a big pile of cash. That's what all this was. All this was a way that, and I'm sure this was concocted by Ben, or not by Ben. Sorry, I don't think this was Ben's idea, the money part of it. I think Ben probably was sold this vision. And in a way, Ben is kind of like a child in many things. And I think he just got kind of perversely converted to this kind of religion of, let's take ASI, let's grab all these other projects, bring them all under one roof. Then we get the aggregate market cap of all these projects. And now we have a coin. Again, they're not merging the companies, just a coin that everybody can use to get in and out of. So we can sell the world this one AI coin, and dummies will come in, meme coin dummies, I guess. I don't know who they were looking for. I guess they're pissed that all the meme coin people didn't want to buy ASI. They're just buying meme coins. But dummies would come in and buy the only asset you can buy. They probably hope they get top 10, top 20. They didn't. And in doing so, they would have a bigger market cap. Having a bigger market cap would make more dummies put cash in, and they could exit. Every one of them could exit. And I'm not sure that's fraud. Or at least I'm not sure you can prove it. And then it's going to be he said, she said. Oh, I heard them on a conference call say they just wanted to cash out. But then if you go to court and some guy's like, well, I started a business, I'd like to cash out. I don't know if that's fraud. It's certainly morally sketch, but I don't think it's fraud. So are they scumbags? Yes. Did they break the law? I don't know if anybody knows what the damn laws are right now. Who knows? Let's see. Didn't we hear at one time there would be DBR staking similar to Jupe staking? Yeah, that's what they're talking about. DeBridge. I used DeBridge this morning. I love DeBridge. I love it. But I still open up 3 windows. I set up a transaction on DeBridge. I set up the same transaction at MetaMask, and then I adjust. You guys know that on MetaMask, you can adjust the slippage. I always readjust the slippage to 1.1%. It has a standard 2% slippage. I readjust to 1.1. I look at those transactions, and then I set up the same transaction at Uniswap, and I see what the net output would be, and I just take that one. It takes just it takes like 30 seconds, and you usually save yourself a pretty penny, and that way you can have extra change in your pocket. Anybody here have any extra Ethereum? nickblack.eth for you extra Ethereum guys. Let's see, maybe the Hypercycle token giveaway was buyout to get rid of the lying. Well, yeah, I mean, there's a lot happening at Hypercycle all the time. You guys are it's just when there's a lack of information for one reason or another, the token price is all we have, right? That's the purge valve, the token price. So I get it. Yeah. And first of all, I ain't paying you nothing. Hypercycle is paying you, and they're not worthless. They're worth 5 or 6 cents. And again, Bill, if you don't want them, you can send them to me. Since they're worthless, I'll take as many as you've got. nickblack.eth. Do I think compute rolls out this year? I think so, yes. Let's see. I just wish they'd improve their communication. Yeah, their communication is poor. They're working on one of the things they're trying to do is hire a really good head of marketing. Right now, they don't have a good head of marketing, so the branding's weird and the messaging's weird and all that. And why? Because they're a bunch of computer nerds and they're not marketing execs. And marketing is different. And being a professional marketing executive is different than being a coder or tech nerd or venture capitalist, right? Those are different hats. And even Ben's hat is not that big. Although Ben is a better marketer than a businessman, obviously. So yeah, so good for Ben. Good for Ben on marketing. Let's see. I can't see any use or utility for them if they're not tied to Node Factory. Yeah, there's, again, the token itself is just used to create the Node Factory, and then that's the end of it. Yep. Would quantum computing ever disrupt AI compute? No, quantum computing, I think you might be just mixing. None of this stuff is in a vacuum. So I feel like there's this perception that quantum computing is over here in this hangar, this black hangar with no address. And everybody else is just sitting outside staring and going, wow, I wonder when quantum computing will come and destroy the world, when they'll let it out of that hangar. That's not the way it works. The steps in quantum computing are very small. The gains are very minimal. They're doing very obscure mathematical reasoning problems to show these big results, but there's no cross-pollination in the real world yet. And the crypto community and the developers, they're watching and they're looking at all the same stuff. There's nothing in quantum computing that's really all that secret. And so the whole world is seeing the progress in real time. It's not like everyone at Bitcoin Core is like, well, I guess in 2043, crypto's over because quantum computing. They are building quantum resistance into it. And as far as AI compute, so humans are working on quantum computing, okay? Quantum computing, think of it as a way to advantageously move forward compute speeds for certain tasks, not all, but certain tasks. Why would AI, which is basically smarter than humans, why would it not absorb the good parts, the merits of quantum computing, and like putting a turbo on your engine? So just kind of tease it out in your mind. All right. Pi was never $31. It listed at $1.50. It was $31 last night, Frank. And we will talk about it right now. I know that a lot of you didn't get to exit, but we can talk about it. Pi mainnet, Pi network mainnet is live. The token crashed 98%. Pi, their network went live. Let's see. The long-awaited Pi network. A lot of people talked about this, and I always thought it was just kind of stupid, but whatever. The long-awaited Pi network finally went live, making a significant milestone for the project. However, the excitement was short-lived as the Pi token experienced a dramatic crash, plummeting 98% shortly after its debut. It should have been expected. Turn of events has left many investors and enthusiasts questioning the future of the Pi network. The mainnet launch took place February 20th at 8 a.m. UTC. So I think that's like 11 p.m. I think that's 11 p.m. Pacific time last night. Anyway, whatever. This was the transition from the enclosed mainnet, which began December 2021, to the open mainnet phase. The launch allowed users to migrate their mined Pi coins from the testnet to the mainnet, making them tradable on various exchanges. OKX, BitGet, they both listed the token. Fueled a bunch of excitement and optimism. And following the launch, the Pi token saw an initial surge in value, reaching as high as $31.50. And again, I'm not arguing with you, Frank. I'm just reading directly from the press release. So this is their words. Reaching as high as $31.50. The surge was short-lived as the token price began to plummet. Within hours, the token had crashed by 98% to just $1.10. The extreme volatility raised concerns about the stability and long-term viability of the Pi network. Factors contributing to the crash. This should be surprising to no one. Several factors have been identified as contributing to the dramatic crash of the Pi token. One major factor is a mass sell-off by early adopters. Surprise, surprise. Who had accumulated Pi tokens at little or no cost. With the mainnet launch providing liquidity, many of these early miners rushed to cash in on their holdings, flooding the market with supply and driving down the price. Additionally, skepticism surrounding the project's referral-based mining model and concerns about its long-term sustainability have further fueled the sell-off. And what is the market reaction? Pi Network's mainnet launch and subsequent crash have elicited kind of mixed reactions from the community. Some see the low price as a buying opportunity. I would say be very careful. Others remain cautious, questioning the project's long-term potential. I always thought it was kind of stupid, but I mean, cool idea, but mostly stupid. Anyway, Pi Network team will need to address these concerns and demonstrate the project's viability to regain investor confidence. The Pi Network mainnet launch was a highly anticipated event, but the dramatic crash of the Pi token has cast a shadow over the project's future. I think that's probably a fair discussion. I never owned it. I never advocated for it. I never really much cared about it. I just don't care. Yeah. All right. Wilco. I have not heard of that, 11. I don't know what that is. Swap it 1 for 1 with your Sophia. Sophia's like half a penny. It's like half a penny. It'd be 10 to 1, buddy. I did get out of a lot of Sophia, though. I mean, I just converted it to Ethereum and then converted the Ethereum. Well, I did it through the bridge, and then I just converted it to Jupiter. That's it. That's all I did. Sophia to Jupiter. I got my ass kicked on it, but it is what it is. Sometimes you're the hammer. Sometimes you're the nail. All right. Let's see. Watching with some delay. The fact that you own many tokens, could that result in a biased view of what's going on? Of course. That's why I'm disclosing it. Of course, I have a bias. I own the tokens, a lot of them. I want them to succeed, but I also don't give a shit about the token price. So it's kind of both. If I care about the token price, I'd be whining about the token price. I promise you I have more tokens than you do. I'm not trying to big dick you. This is the reality. If you don't have 30 million tokens, I have more tokens than you. I don't think you do. So if anybody would be pissed about the price, it'd be this guy right here. And I don't give a shit about the price. It's just never been about the price of the token for me. So I don't care what those guys at SNet do. I don't give a shit what Mario and his idiots do. You want to go sell as many tokens as you can each day? I don't care. Sell them. I don't give a shit. I don't think we should have given them the tokens, but they got them. Sell them. Fuck off. Who cares? It just doesn't matter to me. I've always thought the value was those tokens in a node, those nodes branching and earning compute revenue. But yeah, I own the tokens. I've owned the tokens since the beginning. I'll probably, yeah, so it is what it is. Let's see. Please give the ASI story a rest. No, Frank, buddy, I love you. But you know what? I'm going to talk about whatever the fuck I think is important. If you don't like it, give the show a rest. Like, really, give the show a rest. Go away for a few weeks. Come back later. Again, I'm going to talk about what I think is important to sculpt the brain goo in as many people as possible so that you see it somewhat the way I do. Because that's why you're here. There's plenty of other shows that talk about crypto and stuff that you can find the content you're searching for, Frank, if you look hard enough. I wouldn't worry about tilling right now. And yeah, they're not gonna have a deadline for tilling until they get all their ducks in a row. And a lot of that is software ducks. Let's see. By the way, I'm loving the 150 returns on GMRT restaking. Yeah, so I kind of split my restaking. I have some at I have some, not restaking. I have some tokens at SDAO where I'm earning those rewards, and then I just sell the rewards. And then I have some that is waiting, and then basically when the SDAO pool is now lower than the pool at Node Market by like a third. So I'm looking to see if I should take some tokens out and take the penalty, like take the penalty on those tokens in order to get them into the 150% pool. So I think I'm going to do that. I'm going to look at doing that today, but it's like a big penalty. It's like, I think just to keep it in my, like, I think for 100,000 tokens, it's 1,200 tokens. So it's like 1.2% is what my penalty would be today. So I'd have to look at that. Bam. Okay. Okay, let me find some questions and then we'll talk about Ethereum because there is actually positive news about the Pectra update. Positive, positive, positive. You guys focus on the negative. I get it. It's easy to focus on the negative. Yeah, man. I got you. Well, I can't assume your pronouns, but I know that there's only 2 pronouns now. Donald Trump. 2 pronouns. All right. Chinese are on the watch quantum computing. They have one in space. You know why that? Does anybody know why that's a great idea? Quantum computers, at least right now, to have efficacy, they need to be in an environment where there are no quantum effects, meaning you have to reduce the background temperature to about negative 273 degrees Kelvin, which is also that's absolute zero. That's the point at which all molecular activity stops. So the idea is, if you can get as close to absolute zero as possible, which is about the background temperature of the universe out in the vacuum of space. If you can get as close to that, but not at that. I knew you were going to answer it, so I had to just go into it. If you got to get as close to negative 273 Celsius as possible, which is 0 Kelvin, to minimize quantum effects so that you don't have basically interference between bits, between qubits. That makes sense? You don't want interference, quantum effects, like ripples in a pool affecting other parts of the pool. Yeah. So there you go. Bam. Oh, yeah. So anyway, kind of cool. Okay, let's talk Ethereum. I know Ethereum's been a big kick in the dick for most of us, me included. I went pretty heavy into Ethereum. I had a lot of Bitcoin. I took about, let me think. I took about a third, a little more than a third of my Bitcoin last year, and I converted it to Ethereum at $3,100. So that has done nothing. And for a while it was above, and a while it was below, and it got all the way down to 2,100 for a certain amount of time. And anyway, so on that one, I've gotten my ass kicked. I still think it was the right choice at that time, given the information I had. But Ethereum has not performed well, and there's a lot of reasons that attribute to that. But it is what it is. At this point, the price is the price. So. But what does that mean? I mean, that doesn't mean anything moving forward in the future. Ethereum has to get back on track for making legitimate, considered technological upgrades and progress in their ecosystem. I think we can agree to that. And that would translate into currency units in the value of the asset, we hope. So Ethereum's Pectra update, they think, is huge for the staking ecosystem. And this is an article by p2p.org, an executive there. Anyway, the upcoming Pectra, PCTRA upgrade for Ethereum will transform how institutional staking operates, with key changes to validator consolidation and new prospects for automatic compounding. So like you could auto compound your staking rewards. These are features that could reduce infrastructure costs by 90%. That's a lot. So they talked yesterday at Consensus 2025, which is going on in Hong Kong, about how the Pectra upgrade introduces these features and how it can boost not only the sector, but Ethereum, the token itself. So for the staking ecosystem, this one is huge. Parshakov told Decrypt, adding that in comparison with Shanghai, which was another upgrade, it's on par. While Ethereum's Shanghai upgrade enabled withdrawals, Pectra brings special features which make staking smoother. And ideally, that would grow market share and adoption. The upgrade introduces, let me do one thing. I want to read this. I'm going to read it proper. The upgrade introduces validator consolidation from 32 Ethereum to 2,000 Ethereum per validator, revolutionizing how institutions manage staking infrastructure. Now, I have not gone in depth and looked at Pectra myself, so I'm just going off of what's going on in this specific situation. They're at this big consensus kind of conference thing. So a little bit of this is we have to take their word for it. But anyway, this is what they believe this Pectra update does. So anyway, an operation running 1,000 validators could consolidate their validators to just 16 validators. Does that make sense? So you'll be able to, right now a validator has 32 Ethereum per validator, right? So what you could do here is you could just reduce it so that you could have 2,000 Ethereum per single validator. So you don't need a bunch of validators with 32 Ethereum each. You can just go and put them all in one bucket and have 2,000 Ethereum per single validator. That's a lot, and that reduces a lot of operational overhead. It would be a big difference for the cost of running these validation facilities. Parshakov added that the firm will be able to offer lower fees to their clients as a result, because they can consolidate validators and just continue to provide that same service at a way cheaper price point. Meaning they could, fees would be lower, rewards could be higher, and then there's the auto staking function, the auto compounding, which is a feature that reinvests staking rewards to boost earnings over time without having some manual intervention. You don't have to go in and click a button; it just does it. So for institutional stakers managing thousands, if not dozens of thousands of Ethereum, the auto compounding mechanism represents a bigger opportunity. This dovetails nicely with what they're trying to do at BlackRock and allow, again, these petitions to the, I almost said the CIA, to the SEC to allow ETFs to stake and those rewards to be transmitted to the stakeholders. That makes sense. So you could buy these ETFs and be staking also. So there's not an opportunity cost to be in the ETFs rather than the spot markets where you could take your tokens and go stake them. So that's kind of cool. Basically, you would get away from thinking, oh, how many Ethereum did I earn? What should I do with them? Rather than just compound, auto compound. I don't know what the interval would be, but my guess is it would be per block. I think it's per block, which is pretty badass. I would be surprised if it's not per block. What it would be is it would be at whatever point the fee justifies the auto compounding function. However seamless or easy that transaction is to auto compound staking rewards, it'd be at whatever block that makes sense, right? So there you go. No, but it's still the same amount of tokens involved. And again, Raymond, I haven't gone into what it takes to go Byzantine on their ass, so to speak. So I don't know. I need to get someone that's really close into Ethereum validation, and not only that, but Ethereum validation after they consolidate, and what that looks like. But there's still so many hundreds of millions of ETH, or at least that's not true. That's not true. There is 100+ million ETH out there. So if everybody was staking all of their Ethereum all the time, and again, there's no cap on Ethereum. Understand that. It's which I don't have a problem with, but there's no hard cap on Ethereum. There's an inflation function that produces 4 or 5% more tokens each year, so on and so forth. But if you took the 100 million, you probably reduce that to, if everybody staked at it was 2,000 per, what would that be? 50,000. That'd still be 50,000 validators. 50,000. That's still a lot. Think about what goes on over at the block producers over at Ripple, where there's like 25 of them, but they're all the same company. Basically, it's like 5 companies. It's so sketchy. It's so bullshitty. And like Ripple themselves was like the main part of it, so it's really like 3. But anyway, that was the old days. Maybe they're a little bit better now. I doubt it, but whatever. Anyway, yeah. So there you go. That's what we know about Pectra. So that's kind of cool. I don't know when that drops, but I know they're trying to big it up. It hasn't made much of a dent. Like if we go look at prices, it hasn't made much of a dent in the price of Ethereum. Give me a second. Give me a second. No. That's the wrong one. I don't know why. It kind of like, it's funny. It kind of like half logs you out sometimes. It's so weird. It's like I'm logged in and logged out, but it didn't keep the layout. Okay. Now we should be good. Yeah. So, it hasn't done much for the price, has it? So maybe it's falling on deaf ears. Maybe the market is just in a place of recoil after having its ass kicked so hard and so fast by those D-bags with the whole Libra thing. I don't know. What's exciting for me? When do options launch? Options. When do options launch on spot Bitcoin? When do they launch on spot Ethereum? When does MAX open again? And are they going to have sufficient liquidity? These are the questions that I ask myself on a daily basis. I think we will get more news March 3rd. Anyway, there we go. Okay. Hey, we got some good profanity in today. I think it was some good, well-targeted profanity today. Give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down on my liberal use of profanity today. Should I ratchet it up, or should I tone it down? Or should I go cold turkey like I did? I like a week and a half, I went cold turkey with no profanity. It just didn't feel right. It's like if you saw like an all-white, like a solid white penguin. You'd be like, whoa, where's this tuxedo? Where is the penguin's tuxedo? My tuxedo is profanity. Yeah. All right. That's the only review I need. All right. Stay in school. Don't do drugs. Don't do anything. My poor insolvent drunk, strung out on meth, grandmother wouldn't do. And just remember, when you guys are having, I get all of the, not all, but almost every argument and every thought and every emotion that you guys have in the crypto space. I have had it. I've been here since 2014. My brother was here since 2009. Brandon's been here a long time. We have felt every dick punch you can possibly imagine. Every one of them. We have felt it over and over. And so when we tell you don't worry about something, it's because we've learned over time, just don't worry about it. This too shall pass. Most of crypto is this too shall pass. Me personally, I like down markets better than up markets because that's where you can invest. You can't invest in an up market. It's not investable. So the only thing you need to look at is we're right around where the bull market started. To me, this feels a lot safer. It's a lot safer to put money in now. A month and a half ago, I was uncomfortable telling people what to invest in because things had gone up a lot. I think they're going to keep going up a lot. But the market is investable again. And it wasn't a month ago. So that's good news. All right. And on that note, we'll see you guys tomorrow. Fun Friday shenanigans as always. I bid you adieu.
Terrified, wandering mind, the seams have come undone. You've been telling lies to these eyes as if they'd never seen the sun. Now you've let your guard down and your heart is exposed. Now you've let your guard down, but how could you have known that I'm the big fish round here? You're a small fish. I could make you disappear. You should know this. I'm the big fish round here. You're a small fish.